Oh, did I? Oh, Capricorn. Sorry about that. Kia ora. This is your reading for this new moon in Leo happening really as we speak. I think technically here in Aotearoa tomorrow. Maybe it's today. Anyway, it's all a continuation, isn't it? And so new moon in Leo. Let's get your story out. See what the cards have got for you, Capricorn, today. Let's see, we're coming out with a great card. Let's see. We're getting a few. Yep. We'll talk about it. Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting. It's great. The more the merrier, I say. I do appreciate it. And with this reading, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. We've got an extra card coming out here, which is kind of nice, Capricorn. So let's go through and then we'll clarify. And I might just pull, before we start, a little rock mineral crystal to put face down. We can pull up at the end for you. So let's just see. That one just flew out. Okay, so we're coming out here with the Six of Discs. A beautiful card, very three-dimensional kind of card. If you see it, it's gorgeous. Of course, in the Thoth deck, it is called Success. We're talking about great generosity here. And for the simple fact, it sits on within the middle area on the tree of life. So it's in relation to harmony and beauty, balance and flow, And of course the disc about coin, but it can be in relation to just a sort of a line that you're walking at this current time. There's a lot of backwards and forwards going on. There's a lot of generosity from yourself, from others, whether you feel that or not. Because sometimes we don't. Anywho, we come to the next card, Four of Wands, wonderful card. A place where we belong. We understand where that place is. We have a home. It is like the place of homecomings, of a sense of belonging here. There might be, and I do think, the last couple of readings for Capricorn, there's been a conflict about that, about really knowing quite clearly where it's not knowing, it's more feeling where you belong. What is this place? Where is this place? Is it different? Is it the same? Has something shifted? I think this has been a theme for Capricorns for a wee while. But this is a beautiful card, and it's called completion, because we embark upon many things many times throughout our life. We embark upon something which is completed, and then we embark upon the next. There's not just one, you know what I mean? There's not just one sort of we achieve something and that's that. We embark on these things constantly in our life. And so this fire is the central hearth of sorts. It's the central generator in our life, and it's that internal home as well. Capricorn. We then have 2 sevens in a row. Ho, 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 she said. It's all about assessment. So we've got the 7 of Swords. How do we do what we do? How do we get what we want and need? Do we go around the back door? Are we up front? What is it that we need? We then have the 7. It's pretty cold. Sorry, I'm shivering. 7 of Discs, another assessment card, being a 7. We review in this card. We look back. We look at the current situation in our lives, whatever. We look at our energy output, input. We look at what we put a lot of time, a lot of focus and energy into, and what is it giving us. So we're looking at both sides here of a level of assessment, not only in the practical sense of the word assessment, but in an energetic sense, and also in a I guess in the sense of the sword, which is about the mind. You know, what are our thoughts on how we get what we need or want? Do we make, definitive decisions, or do we go off here or off there or go round? Are we saboteur in our approach to that, if that makes sense, Capricorn? And then we get, there's always a time on and off throughout life where we are in that sort of assessment zone, where it feels like there's not so much happening, but we are assessing, and it's for a purpose. It's so we can continue to move forward. It's so we can continue to keep that internal flame alight. And here we have the great wider flame, this great solar force, so appropriate for a new moon in Leo, Capricorn. This beautiful sun, which is about joy and fun and new growth and new hope and faith. It's a beautiful card. It's a very childlike card. So let's go through and we'll clarify. Capricorn, let's look at the Six of Discs for you. Oh, excuse me, for Capricorn, please, the Six of Discs. A lovely card. Free flow. Knowing what we can do with our resources. We can be generous with them. But we also know exactly what we can use. What is ours. And also, what is our authority here? We have authority. And we can also see what those resources can bring us projecting forward here. Two of Wands, it's a great card. It does suggest a choice at some point. Four of Wands, please. The happy home. Now, Four of Swords. The question here, which just became very clear in terms of the storyline that we're getting, Capricorn, whether it relates or not. Just don't take it if it doesn't. Don't watch if it doesn't. Or do. It's your choice. So we're looking at the Four of Wands here. The place of belonging. Our central, where we belong inside ourselves. What's the structure, this home we call home, this place we identify as our place. We're looking at that. We know what our resources are. We can be generous with our resources. So we're looking at this happy home. We get the Four of Swords. The home is a sanctuary, and in the Four of Swords we seek rest and respite in that sanctuary. We get a lot of downloads, we get a lot of thoughts coming through, you want to call them downloads, whatever, ideas, new directions, new potentials. We get given insight in this place of rest. Sometimes we have to give rest to ourselves because no one else can, So we take that opportunity for respite. And in that zone, as I said, we get a lot of information coming to us. With the Four of Swords, we get the Seven of Swords again, an assessment about. So what do we see in this particular seven, where we see in the Thoth deck, the seven? So 4 of Wands, 4 of Swords, very stable, both being 4s. We have the 7. We see 5 swords in the hand of the thief in the night, and we see 2 swords being left behind. It is about lots of things, this card. It can be about deception from external factors. It can be about deception from internal factors, from ourselves, the self-saboteur that exists in all of us. Again, initially we speak of assessment, and often it's like thief in the night comes round the back door to get what they want instead of being upfront and transparent about it. We see 5 swords. Is there a bit of a tug of war, or someone taking credit for what someone else has done, or vice versa, or there's all sorts of things going on here. I think the primary direction is to take rest, Capricorn, at this time. We also can't help but notice the 2 of Swords left, just in case. It lacks commitment. Yep, there is no commitment here. But we see the 2 left behind, just in case this little thief in the night wants to come back and get them. Maybe changes their mind, you know. Wants those 2 swords. But what is the 2 of Swords? The 2 of Swords is, again, making a choice. It's another 2. We've got the 2 of Wands. Is making a choice based on our intuitive faculties, not on what we see, on what we feel. Interesting, Capricorn. So there's a bit going on in here. But as I said before, the main point is to take rest and respite at this time of the new moon in Leo, because that beautiful sun is out here to be had. Out here to be had, will be. 7 of Swords, we get the 8 of Discs. It's about hard work. It's about working to perfect something, to understand it. We're chipping away. 8 of Discs, working hard. Okay, so I'm not really focused on the 7 of Discs here, which is the next card up. To clarify the 7 of Swords, we get the 8 of Discs. 7 of Swords, about assessing our behaviours or the behaviours of others that don't seem quite integrous enough. 8 of Discs, working hard at perfecting something. Are we working hard at perfecting something to present it out there to the world, to someone else, whatever it is? We're working hard. We then have another 8. 8s are all about the mind. 8 of Swords, card of self-limitation. In a nutshell, we're not bound here by anything. Strip back all the obligations and all of that. We are not bound by anything in the 8 of Swords. We can walk away. Easier said than done sometimes. Then we have the 10 of Discs. We're surrounded by wealth in the form of resources and people. But the 10 of Discs also tells us that we are, as well, the carriers of genetic or familial lines. We carry our ancestry with us, or our familiar, you don't have to, familial ancestry, genetic, epigenetics, all of that sort of stuff. We are a continuum in a line. These things impact us in ways sometimes we don't fully understand, and the 10 of Discs is here to tell us that, to sit with that. And it also, like any 10, is the end of a cycle. It's an understanding, ideally, that comes at the end of a cycle of any suit. So we understand that suit a lot more, and this is the suit of the coin of resource and value in that sense. Let's look at this coin, the 7 of discs, the assessment, the review of our own energetics. We're getting a lot coming out here, Capricorn, which can mean a level of many narratives going on all at once. So a level, something like that. 7 of discs, we've got the Knight of discs. Manager, this Knight, is it's slow, it's reliable, it's stable, and that's a great thing. It's managing. We're just sitting in this review time, and managing whatever information is coming through to us, whatever new ideas stepping forward are coming through to us. We then have the buddy of the 7 of Swords. We get the 5 of Swords coming in, gathering up the swords after the battle. Hence the idea of taking credit for someone else's efforts, or making profit from that, someone else's efforts. You know, it's very, what's the word, self-sabotorial in the end. And we all have that within ourselves. I'm not suggesting it's you or anything around you, but they're difficult cards because they can be internal and they can also be external, representing someone in your life, or they represent aspects of yourself, you know. And then we have the firebrand. Just burn it all off, he said. Fire of fire, shape-shifting energy, very compulsive, very reactionary, but also on another level, it can be a great card for getting things done without rumination. And so it's kind of a neat thing. Wow, so 2 knights, one of the earth and one of fire. Let's look at, oh wow, getting so many coming out. Let's look, I say, at the sun. We get, I'm going to read this out pretty quickly, Capricorn. The sun, beautiful life-giving force. We get the star and the sun. Healing, basically. Healing. Strip back naked, surrender. It's not giving up, it's a surrender. We see where the water flows. It will only flow where it's contained, you know, and whatever it's contained in. We see the Pleiades in this card. We see that surrendering. It's like a shedding, but a healing primarily. We then have an infusion of new information. We have the Tower. And then we come into a state where we really fully understand what makes us happy. We understand what makes us happy, and we're not going to take that for granted. And this is such a cute little face on this card. And there's his 9 cups. Because I know what makes me happy, you know. And there's an extra card here. Wonderful card. Ace of discs. Walking through the doorway of abundance. After all of this, walking through a doorway, a great gift to be open to. Be open to. There is a surrender going on in here. There's a really there's a lot of self-critique, Capricorn, I do see. And then there's a surrendering, and then a level of a new sort of really shiny, really sunny, profitable outcome or development, as much as there is healing going on at the same time. So it's a pretty lovely reading. Last but not least, and the rock mineral crystal cards, as I've said before, have the 4 elements in them. And what do we get for you today, Capricorn? We get you. We get you. Your element. Abundance, fertility, harvesting, and logic. Therein lies your strength. On that note, Capricorn, I think we forgot about a Brian Froud, Pixie and Fairy. We'll just ask for one little card as a glimmer for you, and what a glimmer it is. We get the Maiden, speaking of the star and surrendering and great healing. We get the Maiden, a fresh new bud, a fresh new period, a new beginning. On that note, Capricorn, take good care. Thanks for joining me, and have a wonderful week over this new moon in Leo. Ka kite. See you next time. Bye.